Peter. So I'm Vue.js expert, and I'm working a lot on open source project with Vue.js, of course. And I work a lot with VuePress. I joined the core team 2 months ago. And today I will present you how a framework is working. I'm sure you are using framework every day, but maybe we don't understand everything when you are using it. So I will try to explain you everything with simple terms, of course. I will just ask you to refrain asking me questions during the presentation. I will be more than happy to answer them after the presentation. Okay? So let's begin. So what is a framework and why do we need it? When we are speaking about framework, and especially with Vue.js, we have two important parts we want to speak about: the template rendering and data reactivity. So let's begin by the template rendering. So for the template rendering, if I want you to understand what I will say, I will start by the beginning. I know some of you already know it, but you will see it will be fun. So we have basically the page, the web page, and behind what you see with the web page, you have HTML code. And what we want to do is inject inside the div our application. So we will call it the DOM, the document object model. I will not explain what it is. So what we want to do is, from our page that is empty, we want to insert the to-do list here inside the DOM. So our application will mount or insert this virtual DOM inside the DOM. You will tell me what is the virtual DOM, of course. So a virtual DOM is just a group of vNode, of virtual node, that at the end of the day will produce this HTML code. So what the virtual DOM looks like? You will have here 3 nodes. You will have the div, and inside the div you will have subnodes. Basically, one H1 and one P for a paragraph. And this is the code it will produce when you will insert it into the DOM. Cool? So this is the code of our application. I'm using SnapDOM. SnapDOM is just a library to help me to use the virtual DOM. And our application will mount, if you are using Vue.js already. How many people of you are using Vue.js here? Oh, that's a lot. I didn't know there is so many people in Montreal doing this, but pretty cool. So our application has a mount method, and the mount method receives the selector, so the selector from the DOM, and it receives a component. I spoke before about virtual node, and basically a component is a virtual node. And that's it. So we have one big vNode that we call the virtual DOM, and a vNode can have sub vNode, etc. So sub-component. And you will tell me, okay, you are cool with your component, but show me the code. So if you want to init a component, you will have this type of code for the to-do list. And the two important parts, that the data reactivity and the rendering function. So for the data reactivity, I will speak about it later. But you just may be aware that if we change something in the data, we want our application to update or insert everything into the DOM. Okay? About the rendering function, here I'm using JSX syntax. It's just some sugar to help me to write easy JS. At the end, it will just translate the code into the code you see at the left, and at the end, the HTML. It's just to simplify. And inside the to-do list, so I have two subcomponents, the to-dos and the to-do form. So let's see more about the rendering phase. In the rendering phase, we will have two parts or two phases, the init phase and the insertion or mounting phase, as you want. So for the init phase, what you should know is we have one big component that will receive the virtual DOM, and we want to mount it into the DOM. So let's start by the big one. The big one. And we saw that the big component has three subcomponents: the title or the navigation, the to-do list, and the form. And inside the to-do list, we saw there are two subcomponents too. So for the init phase or the creation phase, you see it's starting by the top and going to the bottom recursively. The word is important. And there will be, it will have the rendering phase next. Oops, I forgot. I added some hook in my application to represent what's happening with the recursive. So as you can see, we have our big node, the app, that it is init, and after he will watch for the subcomponents, and if he has subcomponents, he will init the subcomponents, etc., etc., etc. And if a node doesn't have children or subcomponents, he will create himself if it doesn't exist. So this is basically what you see. You have the app, and after the navigation in it, the navigation doesn't have subcomponents, so he creates himself. The to-do list, he has two child, so the child init themselves, and after create themselves because they don't have subcomponents. And you have the same for the to-do form, and after everything is in it, we are going to the top and create and create and create, etc. I show you the insert phase. We will see it just after. So the rendering phase or the insertion phase, you will start as we are going recursively to the bot. We are going recursively back to the top for the rendering. So we start by the subcomponents and they will render them into the upper component, and those upper components going to the global component and inserting into the DOM. You are here, it's okay? So cool. You see what's happening when you are rendering something. That's cool. But now, when you update something or you create something, you want your application does something. So that will be the data reactivity. You already see it. So yeah, you have your to-do list. You want to add a task. Simple. So you will write something inside the form component, and specifically into the input. And you will have your to-do form component that will have a data with a value that represents the result when you are typing something inside the input. So let's write something. After you write something, after you are typing a letter, the component will receive the pre-patch event that will tell to the component, hey, you should update yourself. So he will receive the value, and after he receives the value, he will diff the old component he has with the data, the new one, and say, okay, if I have some difference, I will patch the DOM. I just add post patch, but there is a patch before. And just update this part of the DOM. With snap DOM, what is cool, if when you are sending two nodes, the old and the new one, he knows where he has to update the DOM. He doesn't have to re-render everything. So yes, you have the pre-patch and after the post-patch. So now you have added the new to-do, and you have your what's happening in your to-do list component. At the beginning, he has just 2 tasks, and those 2 tasks, we have a new one, a good friend. So I'm sure you know what will happen. You will send the new to-do. The to-do list component will receive the new to-do with, as I said before, the post-patch. The application will say, let's prepare to update yourself because I will send you a new to-do. And as the to-do doesn't exist, you will see it's not just a patch, it's a creation. And remember, I said before, you have the init phase and the creation phase, and after you have the insertion phase. So, do you know what will happen with the hooks? Yes? No? Maybe? There is a lot. So, as I said, you will have the new to-do that will be received by the to-do list component. And the to-do list component knows, hey, I have to update. I will send the event to my child, to my sub-components. You remember, you are starting to the top and going to the bot. So I will ask to my child to say, you have to update, maybe. Just check yourself. You are a good boy. And after, he is coming to the new to-dos, the new to-do here. It doesn't exist, so he init and create himself. So for the to-do form, we don't care here, but every patch, every init or every create is finished. So as everything is finished, now you can insert yourself. That's what I mean by the creation and the init phase, and just after the insertion phase. It's okay for everyone? Cool? The good question is, that's cool, you create your custom components. I don't show code here, I know, but if I show my code, it will be not anymore beginner. So you can have access to my code after. I will share you the link if you want of my GitHub. So let's come back. It's cool, you create a framework, perfect, but you're sure it's good? I'm not sure. The first question is, how many times it takes to me to set it up, the framework, and it took me a while because I face some logic inside the logic of re-rendering. At the beginning, I was like, everything rendering every time. I don't know why. Can someone help me? So I just made some research and, okay, you have to use the hook and save the old vnode and just send to the patch the old and the new, and everything happened. So yeah, it took me a while to do that, and of course, my framework is not yet complete, because there is many things I didn't do. I didn't do the store, I didn't do the router, even if it's just library you insert into the DOM, into your application. It can be cool to add that. No. The time I spent to create my framework, I should spend it to learn a real one, like Vue.js, of course. You never learn React, of course. Angular, definitely not. When you are working on some open source project or just a project that people you are using, you must know it's very, very time consuming. And when you are maintaining or evolving it, it can never end. Vue.js will never end, you know? No, I'm not a Vue.js lover. When you have to correct bugs, maybe, or you are just so clever and you will never have bugs because you never do tests, so you will never see the bugs, of course. You do nothing in your company, so we are not working in some open source project full time. So we have to make some money, and you can't do some money if you are working on your framework. Yes, this is an important part. When I did my framework, I saw some leaks I just definitely never correct because I just don't know how to do that. And real frameworks, they are aware about it. So don't create something new if there is something just very, very good existing. Even if you are creating a custom framework, you will learn a lot. Very, very much. Yes. What is good when you're using framework is you will have same code syntax with other developers. Because of course, I'm sure no one in this room thinks like me, and no one will understand like me the code I see. Even if we are doing the same, I'm sure you will never do the same. You will never understand like me. So if you are stuck in some code syntax, you will reduce the bug, of course, and simplify the understanding. Good question. So, which framework you will use? Vue.js? Come on. My talk was so bad. I hope you will not say Angular. But it will not for today, because it's, as I said, just a beginner talk, and the first idea behind this was just to regroup you, telling you that vue-montreal is here, and in the next year, Vue.js is coming. So, thank you everyone, and I will let the microphone to Tommy.